Hi everyone, you're watching Campus France Live. Thanks a lot to be there with us. We're going today to discover the higher education in France. And today we're going to talk about supply chain and logistics with EM Normandie Business School and their MS and MSc programs. We're going to learn the benefits of studying in a brand new campus located in Le Havre, which is an international logistic hub. And to answer all your questions about supply chain, about logistics, and about EM Normandie, I'm very pleased to welcome Natalia Rahim. Hi.
Hello.
You're International Development Manager at EM Normandie Business School. We are also with VG, Associate Professor in Supply Chain Management and Logistics. Hi, VG.
Very good morning to everyone.
Good morning. We are also with two students, Abigail Garcia Sandoval and MD Inzaman Attar. You can start asking all the questions you have about supply chain, about logistics, and about EM Normandie. We're going to answer them during this live session. But to begin, we're going to watch a quick trailer, a quick video to discover EM Normandie Business School, and we will be back just after that. That was a really interesting video to discover EM Normandie Business School, but we're going further and we're going to talk about the different programs. But first, can you all introduce yourself in a few words? Let's begin with you, Natalia.
Okay, thank you very much. So, hello everybody, my name is Natalia. Yes, and it's almost 2 years that I work for EM Normandie Business School. And as you said, I am International Development Manager at the school. So I'm in charge of Americas, Maghreb, and Middle East. I manage those zones for the admissions and everything regarding partnerships or stuff like that. And I'm very pleased today to be here and answer all the questions regarding our master degree programs in logistics.
VG, same question for you.
Myself, Dr. Venkatesh. My background is a PhD in supply chain from University of Waikato in New Zealand, and I joined with EM Normandie way back in 2019, and I bring a blend of corporate and teaching experience across different continents. Yeah.
Abigail, can you also introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Abigail, and I am from Mexico. I came to France last year in September. And I am a MSc student in supply chain management.
And MD Inzaman Attar, you will be the last to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Sure. My name is Mohammad Inzaman Attar. I'm from India. I came to France on September 2019, and I'll be pursuing this course on supply chain management. Right now I'm doing my internship in GTP Logistics, and here I am to answer all your questions.
Natalia, can you tell us a few words to introduce and to present EM Normandie, where it is located, what we can do there?
Of course. Yeah, so we are a business school. We are in the top 20 in the French rankings. Today, this year we are celebrating our 150 years anniversary because as we saw in the video, it was founded in 1871. And about where is it located? Well, we are in the Normandy region. In the Normandy region, we are in two cities, which are Le Havre and Caen. And we also have a campus in Paris and also abroad from France. We are in Dublin and Oxford. And for this matter, our programs of logistics, they are based in Le Havre because as we maybe all know, it's the first French port and one of the most important in Europe. So that's why it makes completely sense to have those programs in there.
And that helps maybe to have like concrete projects to work in, to discover the field, to discover the different actors that work in these sectors. What are the different MSc and MS in logistics that you offer at EM Normandie?
Yeah, so we have two MSc programs of Master of Science. So we have Master of Science in Supply Chain Management, Master of Science in International Logistics and Port Management, and we have a Master Spécialisé, which that one is in French. C'est Master Spécialisé in Supply Chain, Logistique et Innovation.
So that was my next question. In which languages are the programs taught? So there is two programs in English, the MSc, and one program in French, the MS.
Yes.
Vigi, how would you describe the difference between these different programs, between the different MSc?
The first, as Natalie said, we have got two programs in English and one program in French medium. I'll describe about the first two. What are the differences? What are the differences between these two programs? The first program, MS in Supply Chain Management, focuses on a generic element of like the supply chain management in both the semesters, and we give like concepts, the fundamental concepts in the first semester, and we go to the like advanced level inputs in the second semester. Whereas in the like international logistics and port management program, the first semester is the common trunk between like supply chain management and the ILPM students, and in the second semester they will go in advance. Means like they specialize themselves in the subjects directly related to the port logistics and international logistics, and how to set up the terminal, how to operate the terminals, kind of thing. So it is more of like specialized inputs in the second semester, which differentiates the students of the ILPM program and the SEM program in the second semester actually. And the third program is purely on the like in a French medium, and it focuses on the innovation aspect, which is integrated into the supply chain management. Yes.
And Abigail, for instance, what did you choose specifically your MSc? Can you say again which MSc you choose, and what did you choose to study at EM Normandie?
Yes, I am in supply chain management. I have my background is in international studies, so not much related to supply chain. But I started working in a freight forwarder for a transportation company. So I started liking this, but I thought that I needed like to know more about supply chain. So I started checking for universities to do a master in supply chain, and I found EM Normandie, and I saw that it's a very old school. It has a very good reputation between the Grand École in France, and I like the way they develop the program. So I contact Natalia, and she helped me a lot.
And you, MD in Zaman, why did you choose EM Normandie and your specific program?
The reason could be many, but I would start with my interest in the supply chain management. I had already worked in the logistic department before in India, but supply chain was something which I wanted to pursue because it gives a bigger aspect And when I went through the curriculum of the course with the supply chain management with EM Normandie, it was really interesting. It was covering almost many aspects of the logistics as well as the supply chain. And that interested me a lot. It was very mathematical as well as qualitative and quantitatively. It was explaining many things. So that was the thing which persuaded me to come into this course line. And by now, I'm pretty much satisfied with whatever I have given, with whatever I have received.
We're now going to talk about the pedagogy of the different MSc, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them on the chat sections. What is the program, Natalia, of the different MSc? What do we learn in the MScs?
Could you please
the programs, like the different courses, the different fields. So what do we learn concretely in the two MScs?
In the two, well, it's as the professor explained, both are based in the logistics. Personally, as I have already done a master in supply chain myself in another school, I see that supply chain management, I can talk because I have a background and studies in that. So I see supply chain management more focused on the whole supply chain itself, like from the very beginning until the end, until it arrives to the final consumer. And the second one, the ILPM in project import management, I see it like more focused in the maritime part, and also concerning the different aspects of learning. I have talked to Abigail, and she told me that it's very interesting because it's not only theory but lots of hands-on experience. This means that the students, they got the opportunity to do business challenges, business games, and business cases as well, and some in-company projects. Well, right now it's complicated to go into the company due to the current context, but they get a company, they get a real case, they got a real project that they need to work on, and well, that gives them professional experience. And also, furthermore, regarding all that, they have also their 6-month internship that they need to do in order to validate the program. So what I would like to, the bottom line, what I would like to say is that it's not only, you get the theory because it's necessary for the knowledge, but what we intend to do in EM Normandie is to give all the hands-on experience possible to the students.
Maybe VG, you can describe a little bit how you make a split between theoretical and practical courses. How does it work in your classes, for instance?
Add on to Natalia, we bring lots of practical content into the classroom. I hope INC would I agree with me on this. We consciously incorporate some kind of reputable simulations, popular simulations into the classroom exercises, and we brought Harvard simulations into the classroom. So the same simulation which has been practiced across the different leading business schools, we integrated into our curriculum, and we told the students to, at the different points of time, how these simulations are really helpful to make the decisions and how it is really impacting the industry, industry career kind of thing. So we related. All the faculty are really conscious in bringing the practical component rather than looking at only the theoretical aspect. So I'm having a pretty versatile colleagues who got a different experience from different domains. So we always chit and chat how to integrate our inputs so that there will be less overlapping in terms of our delivery kind of thing. So we don't, because the students, it's a very short-term course, it's a 1-year course in the classroom. So we consciously try to avoid the overlap in the curriculum, because supply chain sometimes we try to the faculty also try to give some kind of overlapping, but we try to avoid that. Okay. The third thing, the students keep interacting with the faculty team, like whoever their mentors during their internships or during their dissertations. So they get real insights about like what is being practiced in the industry, what is the best way to move forward in terms of career decisions. So they get some kind of individual mentorship also. So that's a kind of like attention we give to the students. So I feel that like most of the students are like when they enter into this kind of programs, they have a different aspiration, but when they study, when they get the real inputs and everything, so their outlook about the supply chain completely changed. I hope like Inzi would agree with me on this. Like when he came into the program, he was my first student in the program. So like I could see that like the way he entered into the program, now the way he is interacting with us is completely different.
To professionalize maybe your students. For instance, Abigail, can you describe some of the classes that you had during the MSc? What do you learn concretely? What are the different classes that you have?
Yes, for example, one of my first classes was Excel, which give you the basic things that you can do in Excel. Then we have a class with Professor Vigi, which is the basic concept of supply chain, which it's a very important class because this class will give you the base for the whole master. The base concepts of what intervenes in the supply chain, what means SKU, I will never forget it. And also it will give you, for example, as Professor Vigi said, a lot of case studies where you can implement those concepts in real life, and also Professor Vigi gave us a lot of professional examples that he had in the industry.
Can you give some examples of the projects that you had to do? What did you do, for instance?
Yes, for example, we have the business case. It was with a company. We had the opportunity to go one day to the company, but the rest of the business case was in Zoom. So the company was looking for a place to install a new warehouse. So we helped the company to find the place, and we also had to back up why we chose that place, and how we were going to bring the containers from China to that place, what was cheaper or more expensive, and we gave them to the company all the options that they had so they could choose the new warehouse.
The idea, Natalia, is really to professionalize them, to make them work as if they were in the work industry.
Yes, because the MSc programs, they are addressed to people who, well, they are already done with their bachelor degree. 4 years it is necessary to access into an MSc program, and most of them, they have already professional experience. So they are either already professionals or to be professional like ready. And as the professor said, it's a 1-year program, it's 15 months. Therefore, everything should be adapted in order to for them to be prepared for the professional world. Like you are not like only in the school as a passive student, but you are, what we intend is more for them to be active students, and as you say, like to prepare them for the real world with all these kind of different activities. That's the objective.
MD Inzama Natar, you felt the differences between the time you came to the school, you were like a new student at EM Normandie, and now that you have a few months behind you, like you feel more professional, maybe?
Completely. To be true, coming to the EM Normandie and pursuing this supply chain program, it really gave me the platform. So whatever students will be thinking that they will be coming and they will be learning everything in 1 year. That's true, but that's not the only case. The school, the faculty that they teach you, they provide you the platform from where you can enhance more. And that was something which I hung up with. So whatever points and things discussed in the courses, that was not something which we had to just intake it and leave it all. We have to stick with it. We have to discover it more. And by discovering each and everything more by more, it helped me to increase my level, it increased my professionality for talking in terms of supply chain, as well as since I have increased my level in French as well, that helped me a lot to gain the internship as well as the experience which I'm looking for in the future periods.
Yeah, you want to add something, Natalie?
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, I do totally agree with Insman because why I would like to add is that we have a department in the school called Career Path, and actually, as Insman was explaining, Career Path equips the students with all the necessary, this department gives them the resources. For instance, they organize workshops, conferences, they have at their disposal all the offers we have a network of about 5,000 companies, and they do send us all the offers for internships, for entry-level job positions, for graduates. All our students, they have access to that. It's an exclusive offer of jobs, and also within their student platform, they can have an appointment with a coach. This means that when we come from another country and when we are not familiarized of how to do a CV in France, like the format, it's different. I mean, when I was in Mexico, it's not the same as here in France. And so, as a past student and now being on the other side, I see wow, they have a lot of resources. They can get an appointment with a coach, and they can come with their current CV with a coach and telling, well, this is mine, what can we do? I think Abigail, she shared with me that she had an appointment with a coach, that he or she helped her with this CV, and also they can actually get as many appointments as they want in order to prepare interview, or just to get them prepared. They have their collective resources and also one-to-one resources.
VG, we have maybe a really concrete questions, but it's a question that a lot of students ask themselves before joining a program like yours. Do they need a strong mathematical background in order to succeed in the MSc? Is it necessary, or can we be not that good in math?
Okay. The simple mathematical fundamental knowledge is enough. Once they come, we are not doing the big magics with the numbers here. We are just ask them to do addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, and also how effectively we have to do it. So there are some tools and techniques we will teach them, but for them, they should improve their logical reasoning skills. Why we are doing it, for what purpose we are doing it, and how are we going to interpret the results. That is what they are going to learn. It is not about learning the techniques, but it is all about how to interpret the results. Okay, so the logical reasoning skills are more important than the mathematical skills. Once they are entering into the program, they can always improve their mathematical aspects, which the faculty also will help them to understand the smartest way of doing the calculations. Yeah.
And is it possible to do apprenticeships during the programs?
The internship?
Apprenticeships.
Yes, like we say in French, alternance.
Alternance.
Yes. These two programs, as an MSc program, is not possible to do apprenticeship. However, on the other side, we have what we all know in business school in France, the programme Grande École. So I think this is what Isman he did, because now he's in his second year in EM Normandie Business School. So in the first year of programme Grande École, in Master 1, they have common courses, and second year they are able to choose their specialization. So within this specialization they have supply chain, ILPM, or even the one also which is taught in French. And within this framework of Programme Grande École they can do apprenticeship. Okay. However, if they come as new incomers as an MSc program, it's not possible like that.
Mm. And it's true that your MSCs are linked to themes that evolve daily, like we're talking about the digital revolution. There is a lot of new stuff in the logistic and supply chain field. How do you adapt the pedagogy to this evolving world? Yeah,
so I know that there is a subject regarding the green supply chain, green supply chain management. I mean, the professor, he will be even more able than me to explain that. But they intend to adapt all the courses, like for example, the green management today is something like we need to be sustainable with our environment and with our world. Therefore, the study of that field is very important, and also everything concerning digitalization and how is it possible to do things more efficient. As also Abigail said, like one of the first courses she got was Excel. So I mean, as myself, I have worked in the supply chain world before. That's the core, like you cannot live without Excel, so that it's really important. And yeah, I mean, we tend to give all the tools for them to be adapted to this changing and evolving and challenging globalized world.
We're now going to talk about the student life. Maybe we can start with you, Abigail. How is it to study at EM Normandie? What do you like about the fact of being a student there?
Well, first, I was very impressed by the campus. It has a very minimalistic architecture and is brand new. It has a whole floor with games, and the classrooms is very well prepared. We have all the equipment necessary for the classes, and even now with this pandemic. And it has a very nice view to the port.
And what are the different activities for a student? Maybe MD Inzama Natar, you can answer that. What can you do as a student at EM Normandie in terms of sport activities? Maybe there is theater or other associations. What can you do as students?
In terms of activities, to be true, there are many to do. There are many events organized by the school, particularly by the students. And the warm feeling which you get is the open-mindedness about each and every student. So when I came here, it was very good to interact with everyone. In terms of sports and things as well, we have a football team as well as one in rugby, though the rugby was not functioning that well, but I was there in the football team as well. So they create many sports events as well, and they help you to involve in the culture of Normandy. And that was a very good feeling for me when I came here, and it really helped me a lot to build my connection as well. And that also helped me to land up with my internship right now.
And did you have some fears before coming to France and before joining EM Normandie?
Sorry, my friends?
Did you have some fears? Were you afraid of some stuff about living in France?
I had the fear with French, actually, and as well as the culture, how I'll be involving with here. And to be true, when I came here, everyone was telling me that you're in the north side of Normandy, people are very warm there. Although people can say those things, but actually you are there to believe it or not, if it is true or not. But to be true, it was a very warming experience. And meeting people and contacting and having a talk with everyone, contacting with the public outside if we need help or if we need anything to do with during the time of Corona as well, and during the time of confinement, we were pretty much helped by almost all the people which we asked for help with.
You said that it was a really warm welcome, but the weather wasn't that warm, I imagine, in the north.
Yeah, you are completely true with that. The weather was, it rains there quite well, quite often, but yeah, the people around there are warm enough to keep that balance.
What do you say usually, Natalia, to the parents? Because we know that the parents are the first one really afraid of about the idea of letting their children go in France or in other countries. What do you say to make them happy with this decision?
Well, for instance, when they go to our campuses in province, either to Caen or Le Havre, I explain to parents and to students that the fact of coming to the countryside, not to the countryside, I'm sorry, to the province, to go first there rather than to go to the capital, it's much more friendly. What I tend to do is just to share also my personal experience because I have lived in two cities before living living now in Paris, and I'll tell them like for the integration is much more friendlier to come to another city which is smaller, and also as a student like you can just begin to have your links, your places where you like to go, and then as there are the courses in Le Havre, then they go to the internship. The internship, it can be done either they can stay there or they can move to another city in France, or they can also do it abroad. But for instance, if they move to Paris, because sometimes they're like, I want to go to Paris. Sometimes I tend to explain them to that, like for integration and to be safer. I mean, you are not unsafe in Paris, but for you to feel like more confident, for better, smooth arrival, I tell them like, okay, your courses, they are in the province. It will be like easier for you to meet people and to start to do stuff. And then for the internship, then you'll be able to move to Paris and like have kind of the best of both worlds get the full experience. And so yeah, I tend to reassure parents and students on this side. And also, of course, all the services that we have for international students. We have airport pickup. We have also the orientation days that we organize to them in order to explain to them like, okay, these are the different departments of the school. If you need this, you need to come here. If you need that, you need to come there. Also, they get a campus tour and a city tour in Caen or Le Havre, or like in Paris, it's smaller because it's not possible to see all Paris within a day. But like, yeah, we show them the main spots or the tourism office where they can go in order to have more information about the city. They have also all these services, and also they have some support for the visa and for the housing, because that's not very easy when you come from another city, from another country, and you would like to find your accommodation where you are, Mexico, Colombia, India, and like find it's complicated when you are in the country. So we also help and support students with that part. They are like taking care. We take care of them.
And to take care of them, what do you do in terms of, because we know that to come to France there is a lot of administrative steps,
yes.
There is a lot of stuff to do. You help them with that?
Yes, as I said in the very beginning that I'm in charge, for instance, of Americas, Maghreb and Middle East, we are a full team who each one is in charge of certain zones, so we cover the whole world. And in my case of my zones, for instance, I'm in contact, I'm in touch with the campus France spaces of my zones. I'm from Mexico, Morocco, etc. So I'm already in contact with them for all concerning the visa. If they have problems, for example, one of our future students, she comes from Peru. She had some questions regarding the accommodation. They were very particular questions. So I just got in touch with Campus France Peru. I got the answer, I talked to her, and so, I mean, for all the administrative procedures, they got that. And also, for instance, when they arrive to France, they need to do OFI and sometimes CAF, which is the housing aid from the government, and everything is in French. And many of them, they come from English, programs taught in English. So we also help them to register to the CAF. I mean, everything, all that happens during the orientation days I talked about earlier. Everything concerned also to open a French bank account, because in France, if you don't have the RIB, the bank details, you cannot subscribe to the gym, to the mobile cell phone. Like you cannot do barely anything. So we also help them to open a French bank account, and yeah, all those administrative procedures.
All the procedures that can be really complicated sometimes.
Yeah, when you arrive to a new country and like you don't have any idea of how
the
to
culture
do
and the administrative culture, because administration is kind of a culture, and the way you have to talk and to exchange with the administration. Maybe VG, it could be interesting to conclude the student life section, that you tell us more about the links between the teachers and the students. How do you help them? Is it like a personal help that you give them? How does it work, these links?
Okay, so from my experience since 2019, I had a wonderful experience. I had very good students, actually, I can say that. As a part of requirement, we have been allocated some students as mentees actually. So some students are personally attached to us. So they will run along with us till the time they get an internship. They get the personal guidance from us. Some of them got into very big companies like here Auchan, Carrefour. All these companies also has a procurement engineers or procurement managers kind of thing. So they got a very good internship profiles, and we help them which company. Means as a faculty, I understand the students, my mentees, what is their strength, what is their background, and what is their aspirational level, and we guide them along their personal requirement. Why I'm saying is there are few students, they have some prior commitments, something like they are married or they come with lots of experience. They cannot go as a fresh employee kind of thing. So they need to pitch in themselves at the higher level. So we prepare them, we sit with them, we brainstorm with them what kind of challenges you will have them. So we tell them this is the reality in the French market or it is in the global supply chain environments. So you need to be prepared accordingly. So we handhold them and we tell them this is what you will get it. So some students they sincerely or meticulously follow their advice and and they got a very good decent internship profiles in the leading companies like Renault or leading reputable companies, I would say that. So we go extra mile. I would say that I will put it in a different way. We go an extra mile. If I identify the student who has the passion, who has the thirst for getting into the groove of supply chain, I personally myself go to introduce them to some of my industrial contacts and see that how they are being utilized or how that relationship matures over the period of time. So far I had a wonderful experience with the EM Normandie. So and the students, what kind of how they responded to my way of working, I would say that. Yeah. So and also I would put it in a different way. All the faculty here are also very sensitive to the the student from different backgrounds. So they sensitize the students from the different background, diversified background, and they react accordingly. One. If some faculty is having some problems with in handling a particular student, so we all come together and we try to help the student. You got it what I'm saying? We try to help the students in the best what we can, kind of understanding his cultural background, his own strengths and everything. So that's the extra mileage. I can say that as a faculty team, we are always there for students. We understand that we are there for students. We are for the students.
If you're joining us, hi, welcome to Campus France Live. We're talking about logistics and supply chain at EM Normandie, and we are now going to talk about the admission process because we had a lot of information about both the programs and the student life. But now you may ask yourself how to apply to EM Normandie. That will be for you, Natalia. What are the different steps to apply?
Yeah, so the application is an online application. So they go to the website of EM Normandie Business School and they will see a button in order to apply online. They will fill with their personal information. They will upload their documents. What it's needed, it's like a common file, CV, resume, cover letter, copy of degree or transcripts. It is actually important to mention that, as I have said previously, for an MSc, they need a 4-year bachelor degree. Okay. And so if they are actually in their 4th year now that they have not yet their degree, they can actually still apply with the transcripts of the current year and a school certificate stating that they are in the very last year. So yeah, they need those documents, and recommendation letters is optional. And regarding the English proficiency language, if they come from a native English speaking country or if they have done their bachelor degree in English, they don't need to do that. But if not, they need a TOEFL or TOEIC. However, if they don't do it because the context is a little bit complicated, we implemented a language test internally with us, so it's also possible. Once they have submitted their application, I actually check it, and if everything is okay, they don't miss any document, they go to the admission interview. The admission interview lasts about 20 to 30 minutes, and they ask why you would like to join this program, which is your academic professional project, common questions of an interview. And then a couple of days after, after they receive the results stating whether or not they are accepted.
What is a calendar to apply? Is it still possible to apply to these different programs?
Yeah, so we have monthly deadlines every 15th of the month. So it's actually important to keep in mind that the number of seats in the programs is limited. Therefore, we have monthly deadlines because from one deadline of, for example, last one, which is April, from the following one that will be in May, there could be some programs that there are any more seats available. We can still have, for example, seats for ILPM, but MSc supply chain or luxury or marketing, maybe like there are still a few or none at all. So that's why I always encourage students, like if you are already sure about the program that you would like to study, I mean, there's no need to like just wait. You need to secure your seat. And also right now we are in April, almost ending the month, and we need to think about the visa procedures, which the students, they need to start with 3 months in advance up until the desired arrival in France. So this means that they need to begin the visa procedures by ends of May, beginnings of June, and considering that the admission process takes about 2 weeks, it's important, to take all the timings in account.
Let's maybe talk with you, Abigail, to have your feelings about the admission process that you had. How was it, and what would be your advice to the future students watching us today?
Actually, it was very easy. I was a little bit worried because paperwork, like most of the time, is a little bit hard. And I guess like most of the students, they think twice when they want to apply to something that needs a lot of paperwork. But the university did it very easy. Like I applied online, I had the next week the interview, and by the next week I was already accepted in the program.
And what were the questions that you had during your interview?
They asked about my background, about my experience because I was already working. And they asked me why I wanted to study this program in supply chain management, if I already had experience in logistics. And they asked me what I could offer to the program.
We have a question coming from the chat for you, Natalia. Hello, a question from Rawan. Thanks a lot, Rawan, for your question. Hello, please, I would like to know if I am eligible to apply to MSc International Logistics and Port Management if I hold 3 years bachelor degree, not 4 years. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for your question. And actually, the solution here is to apply to M1, which is the first year of master degree. So this is possible. We have a program which, well, in French is Programme Grande École, but in English is Master in Management. So Master in Management is a 2-year program in which the first year you got core management courses, and second year it's a specialization year. So for you that you have a 3-year, you need to apply to this first year, Master in Management, and during the second year you will be able to do either supply chain or ILPM, and that will be the solution for you. And at the end you will get your degree certificate stating Master in Management with a specialization in such field.
VG, what are you looking for in the profile of the candidates? What is for you a good candidate or a good future student?
The passion. So we will always try to assess their passion towards like supply chain management. We are not there to assess their prior knowledge about it, because if you start filtering on the basis of prior knowledge, then we are not doing the justice to their application. So, but they should be having a clear idea about their career, where they want to head towards, why do they want to do this program, and we will try to assess their fitment. That means, like say example, like some of them will be an engineer, some of them will be having an experience like Abby, like she comes from an experience in supply chain management already. So like we'd like to have this kind of students in the classroom to enrich the discussions. So, like we are very focused on like getting a mix of people, that so that like our we have a diversified class. that is our
to have different profiles and different kind of
different
students.
profiles, yeah.
We're now going to talk about the professional world and the international world. My first question is really easy. How many internships is it possible to do during the different MSCs?
So it's only one. It's a 6-month internship because the program in total is 15 months.
Maybe MD Inzaman Attar, do you already know what you're going to do? Are you already doing your internship, or do you already know what you're going to do as an internship? And I think that we have a little connection issue, so we are going to ask the question to Abigail. Abigail, are you already doing your internship, or do you already know what you want to do for your internship?
Not yet. I'm looking for it. I just finished my class last week.
Okay.
So I'm starting to look for the internship, and I am very interested in demand planning.
Okay. What is it exactly, demand planning? Can you describe it for the audience?
Yes, it's the department of the company that will check for what the supply of the company.
Okay.
For looking for the forecast and how you are going to make the company has the correct supply in the correct time.
So I imagine, Natalia, that there is a lot of different ways to do these internships, as there is a lot of different ways to do supply chain.
Yes, I mean, if I understand correctly your question, the thing is that, as I have said, they have access to this database of different offers, and we have 5,000 partner companies. So there are, I mean, supply chain, any company needs to manage logistics. To any company, I mean, it's really, it's essential in the functioning of a company. So that's why we have in our network, we have companies from many different industries. So whether they are more attracted by the sports field or by, I don't know, transportation, or any different kind of field, we have a partnership with this kind of companies. And also for the internship itself, there are like many different possibilities, because as Abigail said, she would like to work in demand planning. Before, she was working in a freight forwarding, and we can work also as, if we choose ILPM, then we can focus ourselves more in the port management. And therefore, I mean, we're already in Le Havre, so students, they can be more, I mean, it's an environment which favors the fact of finding an internship and also possibly a job there already in Le Havre, because they are already in the environment of the port itself.
And let's talk a little bit about international. Is it possible to study part of the program abroad or not?
No, so the program is completely taught in France, in Le Havre, and then for the internship, there's where they have the opportunity to go abroad, to stay in Le Havre, or to go to Paris, or to go to another country, because yes, one more time, thanks to this huge network of companies that we have, they can go to, I mean, they can imagine many diverse professional projects for themselves.
And after this internship, what is it possible to do? What are the careers of your alumni?
So like different job positions.
Yeah.
So I mean, they can work in the corporates or in warehouses. For instance, the people who work in warehouses, it's more to do with the shipments. And for instance, the people that work in the corporate offices of the company, they can do jobs like Abigail, she was talking about, like demand planning, and also, for instance, everything that has to do with procurement, like sending the shipments abroad. For instance, I am thinking about a previous experience that I had, because, I mean, as I said, I was in the field. Previously, I was working in a company of accessories for women, and they have stores here in France and also abroad. So, for instance, our students, they are also prepared. Like, for example, this company, I was in charge of all the shipments to send to the stores abroad. Like, it was necessary to plan the forecast, like to plan how much merchandise to send, as Abigail explained. So, for instance, anything that has to do with shipments abroad or even national, how much stock to have in order not to lose not to make the company lose money. I mean, it's like I just cannot stop to talk because there are many different possibilities in the supply chain and logistics world.
And what are the salaries in these fields?
So the students, they can begin in a salary within 35K to 40 after graduation.
VG, is it easy for your students to find a job, to find an opportunity after they graduate?
Kind of. I would say that they will easily get a job because the opportunities are very, very plenty in the market. As Inzi has highlighted initially, the French knowledge they have to improve upon getting into the program. That is co-curricular activity they should be focusing upon. If the candidate wants to go back to his own country, and definitely he can get a very good job. Actually, I have seen some of our students have gone back to their countries and they have got into the reasonably good profiles as well. Yeah.
And what do you want to do after you graduate? Let's begin with you, Abigail. What is your dream job or dream field?
As I said, I would like to be in the demand planning department, and also I want to stay in France. I want to learn French. My French right now is very little, and because of the pandemic, I haven't had enough time to practice. But so far, that's what I want to do.
And you, MD Inzamam, what do you want to do?
For me, right now, I am enrolled in the internship, so it's very nice experience here. But I would want to pursue more. Right now, I'm looking on more to develop more capabilities in terms of supply chain. I'm planning to give some exams which were recommended by our faculty in EM Normandie, and as well as learn more things there, because it's true, as told by everyone here, supply chain is a really large field, and the opportunities here in France is quite good as well. So after doing my internship, I'll be thinking to get a job here and settle in here, and as well as look more in the field of supply chain.
Natalia, what do you want to say to conclude this live session? What would be your last advice to the people watching us today?
Okay, well, just to sum up, actually, the last question, for example, Abigail, she said that she would like to find a job in France. For instance, all our MSc programs, not only the ones in logistics, but all of them that we have, they are accredited by Conférence Grande École, which in a few words, for those who never heard about Conférence Grande École, it's a consortium of private business and engineering schools in France that they have international accreditations, and when you see this seal of Conférence Grande École, you will see that it's a very good quality school. And so, as I was saying, all of our MSc programs are accredited by such institution. And the advantage of that is that, for instance, those students that would like to stay in France to look for a job, thanks to this important accreditation, they can apply to a permit of stay back. This stay back is that they are able to apply to this permit of staying 1 year after their studies to look for a job related to their master's degree. This is 1 year, and once they find employer, well, the employer needs to sponsor the visa, but it's good to keep in mind that thanks to this accreditation that EM Normandie has, if you have the project to stay in France, it's an advantage. And something to add, I would like just to say that don't hesitate to get in touch with us. In the website, you will see that, in the website, when you go to our different programs, you will see the whole team that I talk about, my peer colleagues, that there is each one for each of the countries in where you are. So don't hesitate. Please feel free to get in touch with us, either by email or by phone, and drop us all of your questions.
Thanks a lot, Natalia, and thanks to the 4 of our speakers today for answering all of your questions. If you still have questions, or if you want to know more about EM Normandie, don't hesitate to visit the website. And I hope that you will find your perfect program. See you soon on Campus France.